people subscribe, the more the algorithm sends it out to more viewers, and those viewers can join this growing community, post tips and tricks, or they can post requests, which I'll review and then I'll share with everyone. Now, with that said, let's get started. Back to the the intro. It says Blender Python for beginners. That's perfectly fine. Now, I don't know why it's showing. Okay, I'm running the social stream as well. So what that means is that around here, this area here, you should see any chat requests. I'm still getting used to it, so hopefully I will get it right. I won't forget next time. It will be part of my workflow. All right, as you can see here with this example here, these are all 3D graphs based on CSV file data. I'll show you that in a second. You see there's different colors, and obviously the height is different, and it's completely 3D because you can use any shape you want, but I just want to make it as simple as possible. That way to get you excited about whether it's Python or Blender. And obviously I'm using this this courtyard. That's my favorite HDR image for the lighting, but you can use any HDR image you want. I think maybe in a future tutorial I'll start creating some HDR images from AI. That way we can use our own images and just make them exactly what. Obviously this one doesn't make any sense when you have the dog and sunlight, but yeah, you can fix that. All right, so first of all you need to install. I'm on Fedora Linux, so I can install Blender two ways. I can use from the repositories sudo dnf install Blender, or I can use from the software whatever software package center, whatever you call it, to install it from FlatHub. Or you can also go right to blender.org and download it there. It's cross-platform, meaning that it's available for Windows, Mac, and obviously Linux. In the past, they tried to install something on Android, so that might be there. Now, I know on Debian, and obviously now, if you have an ARM-based computer, you can obviously install it. So that means, obviously, for example, the Mac Apple Silicon, sorry, that's obviously ARM-based. Definitely it works, and Apple is not the first to come up with that. I said it's been on Debian, at least as far as I know, and probably others as well. Okay, so what are we here? Oh yeah, so then after that, you just need to have a CSV file. So if you just have a CSV file and save it with your data. So in this case, I'm just going to show you. As you can see, I do have a CSV file. I'll show you that in a few minutes. Excuse me. And then of course, if you want to look at the code, I have the code here, the Python code, and I also have the HTML code to display it in a web browser. I'm using ThreeJS now because that way I have more fine control. Before I used to use the the model viewer. You can use that as well, which is perfectly fine, but that one didn't give me sometimes I want some more interactions, and now I'm able to do that control stuff the way I want it instead of the fixed one as well. So here's some screenshots. I'm not gonna, you can look at the screenshots, you can look at the articles on Jambo.com. The link is also in the description. I'm not going to talk about this because I'm literally going to show you Blender and all that, how it looks like. And of course I'm doing this live. So right now I'm live on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, Kick, and Twitch all at the same time. All right, so I'm gonna stop right there. That's good enough, and let's get started. So as you can see, here is, I think I'll put these two together so you guys can see what's going on and cover that up. Okay, so as you can see here, the courtyard, that's the EXR. You can use any HDR that ThreeJS can load up. I like EXR because that's a compressed version. So HDR, the .HDR is very, very large. It's because it's uncompressed. EXR is compressed. Later on, I'll show you guys how to also compress it further using KTX, or especially KTX2. So those are ready for the GPU, so those should load off much faster as well. And then of course you see the blend file here. So I'm going to delete that blend file because I'm going to recreate it by using code. I'm also going to delete this GLB file. I'm not going to delete the CSV file. I promised I'll show that to you. And of course, we have our HTML code and we have the Python code. So all these are text files. So I'm going to select all of them. And I think I can open this with Guinea. Does Guinea show up here? Where's Guinea? Here we go, Guinea. Why isn't Guinea opening? Huh, that's weird. Okay, so let me open up Guinea first. I don't know why Guinea is being a pain in the butt. Okay, I'm working on something here, but that should not, oops. Oh, come on. Should have simply used something else, but that's okay. I'm gonna put Guinea here, make it a little bit smaller. And I'm gonna grab all these three here and drop them there, perfect. So I'm gonna show you Guinea here. Should be able to see all of that. Okay. So let's start with the, okay, we might as well start with the Python file, that's fine. So let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. So the usual stuff, we import the Blender Python module, we import math, we import the operating system and the CSV. And these are just the file paths for the path to the CSV file, the path to the Blender file that will be created, and the path to the GLB file that will be created. This one is pre-created already. Here's a script folder. The reason I've explained why I do this, it's because sometimes when especially the Fedora version was a little bit behind or it was missing a feature, I would have to use the Flatpak version. Now because that one is sandboxed, I need to know exactly what folder I'm in, so that's why this code is here, and it's perfectly fine. This also lets me save these two files, the blend file and the GOB file, in the same folder where the Python file is. That's what I want. By default, it will save it into your home folder. I don't want that because I want it saved in the same place, especially for this tutorial. And then as you can see here, this will be the path to the CSV file, so that's perfectly fine. Now we have, because we're going to load this one is going to be loaded, so that's why it's here. So we have some visual settings here, some variables, the bar spacing is set to 1.5, the width is set to 0.8, you can change this to anything you want. You guys know this, my utility functions. We clear the scene, basically grab everything on the scene, because right now, at the time of this recording, Blender comes with a default cube, a default light, and a default camera. We don't need any of them. Okay. Now you might say, well, you're going to use cubes. Yes, but I'm saying is that if I create my own cube, I'll be able to, obviously it's going to be pre-selected, so I don't have to rotate it or do that kind of stuff. It's already like that. So I'll add my own camera lights, and especially the lights I'm going to be using in HDR as well. Okay, then we have this function to create the material. Basically, just taking a name, value, and then what we do is we decide to see, we're going to use obviously BSDF node and the output node, and then the values will come in from the whatever's calling this particular function, and this is it, and just return the material. And then this is the one to create the 3D chart. You see, we clear the scene, we call it, and then what we do is we grab the data from our CSV file. We just use a for loop here to loop through each row. And then what we do is, because we're going to have a bunch of values, remember, so we need to keep the maximum value separately, because if we don't do that, then what happens, I did this when I was testing, what happens is that, let's say some values are lower than the big one, you don't know what the maximum is, what happens is it will be clipped off. So obviously that doesn't make sense for a chart. In a chart, you want to see everything. So that's why we use this, because we want to use it later, and I'll show you that as well. So then we generate the bars. So as you can see here, we have the scale, we do all those things. Again, we base it on our max value. See here, when we have to base it on our max value, because we don't want it to be taller than the max value. All right, so then we have the camera here. Again, you see, based on the max value, we will be able, because we want to, as I said before, want to use it to make sure we can actually see what the max value is. And then after that, we just save the blend file, and then we save our GLB file. Now, GLB file, make sure we export just export basically. That's it. That's all we do. There's nothing special about this, because by default, it's going to export our materials as well. And then since this is procedural, so object oriented, I mean, we have here, we call the function the generate 3D chart. And that's it. So that's our Python code here. And then for the HTML, let me zoom in as well. The usual HTML doc type. You don't need this. This leftover. Actually, I don't even need UTF-8 as default. At least I'm on Linux here. The viewport, we set the initial scale to 1.0. And the title 3D bar chart, obviously going to use ThreeJS. And then styling, I'm not going to talk about that because that's subjective. You can put whatever you want. In fact, the background is not going to even be black because we're going to use a HDR image to fill that out. But okay, and then we use an import map. You see, we're using a CDN to import a ThreeJS version 1.60. Then we use the module to load ThreeJS, of course, orbit controls, and the GLTF loader, and the EXR loader. So EXR is for our HDR image, GLTF is for the object, and orbit controls is that way so we can span, zoom, all those type of things. All right, then we call our init function. You see the init function, we set the scene, the camera, and its position, and we set a render. It's going to be 3WebGL renderer. Anti-alias set to true, set pixel ratio to the device pixel ratio, set the size to the window inner width to inner height. That means it's going to take up the entire available width and height. Then after that, what else do we do here? Orbit controls, that's obviously the camera, and we enable damping, sorry. And EXR, we're going to load our Courtyard EXR. This is this comes with the Blender, at least 4.5 and 5.0 at the time of this recording. As I said, in the future, I'll try to create some other HDR images. Okay, and then after that, we set our scene background obviously to the texture, and then we load our GLTF file. That's this one here, the GLB. That's the binary version of the GLTF. And then we just add it to the scene, and yeah, so then we create some type of like a bounding box, and then after that we add an event listener. So when it resizes, we resize everything here. So see, resize, we change the aspect of the camera and update the projection matrix and set the resize to the new window inner width and window height, and then of this animate function, which you just request animation frame and control updates and render scene camera. That's it. Oh, I forgot to save this. And then after that, here's my CSV file. I'm going to zoom in here. Where is my zoom in here? You can see I have January, February, March. You know what? I'm going to add another one. I'll put April. And this one, I'm going to give it, what value should I give it? Let me give it what value should I give this guy? I don't know, 35? I'll give this one 30. Okay, so you can add as many values as you want, but you see I've added, it's just a very simple comma separated file. So it's label, this is the label, sorry. The titles, if you will, label and value. So obviously label is going to be this, January, February, March, and blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff there. So this is, you can do this in a spreadsheet if you prefer, or like I said, I just use a text to put it here. So if you don't understand what I mean, some of you might actually be the first time looking at CSV files, so I'll explain that to you as well. So you see this CSV file here. I'm going to open it with LibreOffice Calc. And you can see this is what it looked like in your spreadsheet. You see label January, February, March, April, and the value is 10, 25, 59, 30. So again, just to prove to you, so by default, LibreOffice understands that, you know, separated by is obviously comma by default, but you can change that. You can merge the delimiters and etc. if you have extra. So when you open it up, this is what it will look like here. I'll zoom in so you guys can see that. You see that? Label, value, January, February, March. So you can also do it like this and just go to File, and then you can go to Export. See, under Export, you see here you have different options. Export, looks like it's already export. I guess I have to go to this. All formats. Oh, looks okay. I can't use export. I thought I could use export. It looks like I have to go to File, Save As. If I go to File, Save As, you see here it says text.csv. There's different versions to use as well. So text.csv. So if you click that, and then I can go to save, and you see it's going to override it. So I don't want to override it, but I could if I wanted to. But you guys get the point there. So I'm just going to cancel this. So that's that. Now we have our Python file here, so we can now execute this, and it will generate our blend file, and it will also generate our GLB file, the GLTF. So let me go here on the command line. Let me zoom in. A Blender. I'm in the same path where this one is, Blender space -b to run it in the background. If you don't put this, it's going to open up Blender, the GUI, and that will be slow because it has to display that. So run it in the background, space -P. That's for Python, and the name of your Python file. And then press enter. You can see I'm running. Let me zoom out here a bit so you can see what happened here. You see it says we're running Blender 5.0.1. That's the time of this recording. That's what I have. You see it created my blend file. It also created the, should have created the GLB file somewhere. Yeah, see it finished exporting the GLTF 2.0 as well. And it was very, very fast. Here's the export, and it's finished. So you see now we have the blend file. We also have the GLB file. Now let's take a look at this blend file in Blender. Here we go. You see I have four of this. Did you open it up twice? Oops, looks like I double clicked it. So open up twice. I didn't realize it did that. Okay, so for all the people who are watching this on vertical screens, don't worry, I got you guys. I got you. I got you guys. I got you guys covered. Okay, so you see, they're here. It's just Blender. You see that? If you remember, yeah, so you can see there's different heights. You see that? 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can see, you can pan, zoom, etc. You can see those are 3D. All that was made by Blender Python, very, very quickly. Now let's go to the scripting tab first. So scripting tab here is where you just click new, you paste your code in here, and then you can run it. Just press this button to run it. Okay, then when you're done, I'm saying if you want to look at it, you can simply go to the, where is the layout? Here's the layout, and then you can simply go to, you see by default it uses this, which is the viewport shading solid. It does that so it can render much faster, especially for people who don't have powerful GPUs or even GPUs. Even if you have a GPU, there'll be a little penalty. But if you go to this one here, which says material preview, you see material preview will use the actual materials that I specified in the what do you call it, in the Python file. As you can see here, they have different colors. Okay, so I don't know why that's popping up. I don't even know how to close it. Okay, whatever. I don't know why is it coming on this screen. Okay, that's weird. Okay, so as you can see here, it is. Now you can also go to the materials shading workspace. You see shading workspace. I can click on the first one here, for example. You can see it uses this color. Let me zoom in a little bit. This is the material output. That doesn't really matter. See, there's only one color. That's this color here. See, it's a bluish color. If I pick the second one here, you see the other one uses a greenish color, and this one uses the bluish color again, and you guys get the point. So I don't need to. It says chat disconnected. Please wait while we try to reconnect you. And then it says chat has successfully connected. Okay, I don't know why it did that. Alright, so that's what I was trying to say. Yeah, so that's a Blender. Now I don't need Blender anymore, but that's it. Obviously you can change the materials to anything you want. You know, you can simply go to the here materials, and you can see the one I've selected right now. This is it as well, and you can change it, and you know, whatever. You can see the hex code and all that as well. So we don't need Blender anymore. I'm going to close it and we're going to save because it's here. Now, in order to run, because we're using a CDN, I think I should be able to simply just to drag and drop this into there. Sometimes it doesn't work, so I don't want to run with it. So I'm just going to use a web browser. I'm going to turn up, I'm going to use a web server. Python space -m http.server, and then I'll give the port number 8080. Okay, so this allows me to run this on obviously port 0.00000, all the IP address of this particular workstation, or I can use 127.0.0.1, or I can use localhost as well, as long as I put the port number 8080. All right, so let me grab a window here. I'm going to use Chromium because I know Chromium has WebGL and I've had it for a while. Okay, so I'm going to go here, then was it an index? I hope it was index I used. So if I go to localhost, like 8080, yeah, perfect. So I didn't create it as index.html. That's perfectly fine. So I just click this low poly interactive chat HTML. I click on that, and what is going on here? Why did it not? Did I make a mistake? Oh, it's still loading. Did I make a mistake? Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so it looks like something went wrong. Let's find out what went wrong. Go to the developer tools. It says unpack from origin has been blocked. Okay, can't load the EXR image, it looks like. Okay, so it looks like it cannot load the EXR image. Now, that's not a problem. We can fix that. Let's take a look at our code. I closed Guinea. Okay, so if we go here, let's look at our code and see what I did wrong here. Definitely the courtyard. That is weird. This should work. Yeah, that is weird. Maybe I just need to do a hard refresh. That should work. I'll do a hard refresh, Control F5. No, it's definitely not loading. So let me investigate and see what's going on here. I do not know why that's not working. I literally made the article based on it, so I'm not sure why that's not working. Okay, okay, oh, there we go. So yeah, I just had to do a hard refresh. That's all I had to do. All right, so that's fine. I just had to do a hard refresh. I guess because I was doing some work for a client, that's probably why that came up like that. So as you can see, this is clearly 3D, and I'm gonna see that it's 3D. And there we go. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So there we go. You can see the first one there. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. And you can see, remember, one of them was what, 30? Another one is 25. So there we go. So you can see them there. There we go. Perfect. I think this was 15. I believe this is 20, 25 and 30. I believe that's how it is. So there we go. Obviously, you can add more or less and change the size and the height and all those things as well. All right, so that's basically the tutorial. Just wanted to show you that. Yeah, so this is the courtyard. I like using this courtyard because there's so many lights and a whole bunch of other stuff. Now obviously that's not the best for this, unless maybe you're doing something about being outside, how many days people spend outside or something. But yeah, of course you can also change the make them go instead of vertical, you can make them polygon horizontal as well. That could be another option. Yeah, but that's all up to you. So you guys have this here. You can play around with this and let me know what you guys think. Obviously you can also put textures on them because remember they're just cubes. They just elongated cubes. Okay, let's go finish this tutorial up. Oh, it looks like I do have a chat from let's promote you. Okay, I'm guessing that's from Kick. Yeah, that looks like it's from Kick. Yeah, so that's kind of spammy. All right, so where am I here? Okay, yeah, so let's finish this up. Let's put this out here, so just in case people want to take a look at it. Let's make it a little bit thinner. I don't need this anymore, so I'm actually gonna close this, Control C, exit. And I'm gonna go back here. So if you wanna take your skills further, I do have books. They're available on Amazon. You can search for Editor Jumbo. The link is also in the description. I have courses on ojamboshop.com. The link is also in the description. And I also offer tutorials, one-on-one tutorials at ojambo.com/contact, or if you need service consultations at ojamboservices.com/contact. I also have some other recommended resources. I live in a rural area. There's no internet here, and the cellular service is sporadic. So I do use SpaceX Starlink residential service. This is my referral link. If you do use it, I'll get 1 month free, and you'll get a significant discount. I also have an affiliate link for this Honeywell HeatGuard personal ceramic heater. You see I have one right here I'm using, and it has two settings, low and high. Low is 170 watts, high is 250 watts. So this low guy has saved me hundreds of dollars on heating this cabin or cottage or house during winter. You can pick it up on Amazon and use my affiliate link where I'll get a commission and you will not be charged extra. I also have the Algorithmic Serpent. It's my first novelette. I have a copy here if I can pick it up. You see, it's by me, Editor Jumbo, and it's a psychological thriller about a scientist who creates an AI system and loses his mind, and he has to gain control of his mind and obviously the AI system. So pick it up if you have the means. It's very affordable. The majority of the cost is for printing and shipping for this paperback version, and storage costs for the ebook version. My greatest one is this Recession Business Blueprint. It's a guide to help you start a business during the recession, so you can, whether you're looking to like start a business from home, or a service-based business or a goods-based business. For example, maybe you want to open up a coffee shop or a book reading club. It doesn't really matter. Or I'll show you how you can, in the business recession blueprint, there are guides to help you, for example, research, find suppliers if applicable, equipment. For example, like if you want to do, maybe you want to be like a freelance programmer like I am, you need certain equipment. It could be like a comfortable chair. It could be a comfortable keyboard, maybe a monitor, laptop, all those types of laptop bag, things like that, right? So you need to know where to get those things. So some consumer stuff does work well, some stuff does not. So for example, what I found out when I started my business is I was just going to buy the cheapest computer, just go to the big box store and buy the cheapest computer. Then I found out, without even thinking about it, I was like, wait a minute. The cheapest computer, even though I take care of it very well, it basically starts falling apart. But when you buy, they actually have business goods. Those ones are meant to last long. Of course, they're more expensive, but the trick is when you're starting out, you don't always have to buy new, right? Like, for example, you can buy used, because used ones are well taken care of, especially because a lot of businesses buy stuff new, and then you can buy it off lease, so you save significant amount of money. For example, my laptop here, when it first came out, it was over $5,000, right? And I got this one in 2021. It wasn't the one I wanted. I wanted the one 1 year later. But the problem is that I actually had a budget for a new one as well. So I got this one, and now it's 2026 and I still have it. You see my point? And so think about it. This computer was already 6 years old when I got it, and I've had it for another 5 years, right? So that's what I'm trying to tell you, is like you find ways to save money, especially during a recession, because funds are in you won't be able to get as much funds as when the business is booming. But one of the skills you will learn is how to survive or start a business during the lean time. So meaning that when the economy crashes, the economy goes up and down. So when the economy eventually goes back up, everything will be obviously great. But then when it goes back down, those skills you learned, you don't have to learn them again, because they already be imprinted, they've made an impression on you. So you know how to do that. All right, and then if you want to know more about me, I have a blog for every article right on ojambo.com. I'm a software engineer, web designer, author. My book page on Amazon, the link is here. It's also in the description. If you need support, ojamboservices.com. The link is also in the description. And if you're ready to learn, ojamboshop.com for the online courses. The link is also in the description. And if you want to contact me, you can use this comment form. It stays up 14 days after the article goes live. You can simply go to ojambo.com, pick any article, and you'll be there. Obviously, please be mindful and make it obviously based on topic. For example, what did we do today? Blender, Python, 3D charts, CSV files. Those are all perfectly fine things to write here. Or for example, maybe you found a better way to do this. That's also perfectly fine. But the best way to contact me is use the contact forms, ojambo.com/contact, ojamboservices.com/contact, and ojamboshop.com/contact. And then if you want to follow me, the channels are Odyssey, Rumble, BitChute, and YouTube. And I'm obviously also on Kick and Twitch. I might add those here when I have some time, hopefully before the end of this month. All right, now I'd like to implore you to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments, because the more people subscribe, the more the algorithm sends it out to more viewers. Those viewers can join this growing community, post their tips and tricks, or they can post requests, which I'll review, research, and then share with everyone. Okay, now I'm going to show you the outro, and I'll scroll back up here and let you know that if you want to see what's upcoming, you go to ojambo.com, you go to Watch Many Live Summit. You can see we've just finished this automating 3D web charts, as examples are here, with Blender, Python API, and the CSV data file. Then tomorrow we're going to do a talk. So if you like the podcast format, be sure to tune in tomorrow, because we're going to talk about help you understand the local AI architecture using GGUF and quantization. And then the day after that, we'll actually use local AI to generate a Megaminx puzzle and then display it as is. And then the day after that, we'll actually optimize it. So this is one of those criticism about AI. It doesn't matter if it's local or remote or proprietary stuff. The thing is, or open source or proprietary. The thing is that you still need programmers. Right, so it's I do not have except I do like I do admit I do like the image and video generation of AI, because I'm not an artist. For the AI, it's still lacking, right? So you see there's a clickbait idol saying that, oh, you don't need programmers anymore, AI will do that for you. So this is why I do this. Now, I'm not being a jerk or anything like that. I show you in real time. That's why I do a live stream. So if it works well, I'll show you that. Okay, so if I'm impressed, I say that. So it's all in real time. And then the day after that, we're going to use stable-diffusion to generate images using the Flux 2 client. So the reason I'm doing this is because some of you obviously don't have powerful GPUs, or maybe you want to use your laptops, which obviously don't come with powerful GPUs. Or even some older laptops. The reason I'm mentioning laptops is because if you have a desktop computer, most likely there are ports or free ports where eventually you can buy maybe a used GPU like I did. But on laptop, your options for expanding are very limited. So instead of maybe you also have memory space, storage space limitations. So instead of, for example, if you use something like ComfyUI or the others, you need a minimum of about 20 gigs just for the software to run. That's before even loading models. Downloading models and all that. So when you have models or whatever, it balloons. So right now, for example, I'm storage limited. So that's why I'm keeping a very good eye on stable-diffusion, because this is obviously what I think the future will be, is something that is C++ or C++ instead of getting all these huge Python libraries which take up a lot of storage space for now. All right, and then after that, there will be others that will show up. Right now, this is limited to 5, but there's a whole bunch of stuff that's I'll make sure is there. Okay, now obviously I don't think there's any chat request, but I'll check quickly. YouTube, Odyssey, Rumble, BitChute, Kick, and Twitch, and then I'll see you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. I do have some work to do today, so I don't think I'll be able to do a night stream, but I'm trying to free up my time so that I can do a night stream at least tomorrow. If not, it's okay, I'll make it up somehow to all of you guys. All right, with that said, bye now.